right. Let's get into this. Cheers.
Cheers, sis.
Another episode.
Okay.
All right. So, welcome back to the Lethal Library. I'm Stephanie,
I'm Dani.
and we're here to tell you some stories about true crime in our area. We like to focus on Idaho and the Pacific Northwest. We specifically like death row cases, but that's not the only cases that we cover. And Dani always comes every single week with a very intriguing story. And I get to listen and we talk crap about it. So
Let's talk shit about some
thank
convicts.
you. I don't know. I think my work sensor is still on.
His work sensor.
Sorry.
Well, this is a story of good gone bad. In today's episode, I'm going to tell you about Donna Kaye Thorngren. A devoted mother with a family strong in its faith falls apart. Children that stand behind their mother for years are torn apart when they find out the truth.
Oh my God.
An example of how trying to protect children can go too far. My research today comes from several articles from the Idaho Statesman
That girl.
and an episode of Snapped.
Love Snapped.
It was hard for me.
But it's very, very produced. But we love a good snap story because, yeah, people do snap. And they make a great showing of how that happens.
I will say, though, this was, in my opinion, not snapped,
Really?
planned.
Mm. Bum, bum, bum. The suspense. Okay. Let's get into it.
Let's go. On January 12th, 2003, 42-year-old Curtis Thorngren was found shot in his home in Meridian, Idaho. His daughter, Amber, found him on the bathroom floor with blood coming out of his ear. She told 911 that there was an accident. When the authorities arrived, they discovered Kurt had 3 gunshot wounds to the head, and one of those gunshots was in his mouth.
Ooh.
So, of course, the panic of her walking in and finding blood, thought there was an accident.
A terrible scene, for sure.
And not walking in to investigate, calls 911 immediately. Who wouldn't? But once the authorities got there, they're like, oh, this is not a fall. This is not a suicide, because we know that 3 gunshot wounds, despite what people say, is not a suicide. 2 days after his death, the police still have no leads. Curtis was last seen about 2 hours before he was found at home at 2 a.m. He had come home after church to do his normal routine, which consisted of eating lunch and doing a crossword puzzle. That was like a standard for him. But even with that short time frame, the authorities knew that he had been shot within that 2-hour period.
Yeah.
But even with that short time frame, the neighbors didn't hear any gunshots, and there was no signs of forced entry.
That's different. Okay.
Because I just wanted to focus on that for just a second, because if somebody said, did you hear anything yesterday, is a lot different than saying, did you hear anything between like noon and 2? Right?
Mm-hmm.
And they didn't. And none of the neighbors heard anything. Amber, Curtis's daughter, told police the front door was ajar when she came home, which was unusual. The police found electronics unplugged and shuffled around in Austin's room, which is their son. They thought this could have possibly been a botched robbery attempt. The Thorngren's home had been robbed several times in the last few months, usually on a Sunday while the family was at church.
This is very interesting.
I feel like it was somebody that knew where the family would be.
Somebody that knows the patterns. Because
Yep.
we all have our patterns.
We do.
We do. I have a very strict pattern for myself. So
Yeah.
Just kidding, stalkers. I'm everywhere all at once.
Like, you never know where I'm going to be.
You'll never know my next move.
The Meridian police force was stretched thin at this time. Within a 48-hour time frame, they were dealing with a murder-suicide and the murder of Kurt, which Meridian was a very small town at that time. In 2000, the population was only about 35,000 versus today, it's around 140,000. So we're talking about 25 years. What is that, a triple? Are we doing math? Over triple? Triple. 35. Yes. It's triple. I'm going with triple the population.
Good enough.
Only one murder involving a firearm had happened in the last 25 years before these two incidences.
It's pretty quiet around here, you guys.
So with that being said, with the small amount of big cases that they are used to dealing with, the police department had to temporarily move a patrol officer to the detective unit to review evidence full time. Let me tell you a little bit about Kurt. Kurt was married to Donna Thorngren and had 3 children, 21-year-old twin daughters, Amber and Annalisa, and their son Austin, 17.
Okay.
Kurt was a technical engineer with Hewlett Packard and a game day employee at Boise State University. Kurt worked the BSU football games for more than 12 years and also watched over the BSU locker rooms at basketball games. You know, he did this because he loved it.
And for you guys that don't know, Boise really treats our college football and has, like a lot of southern states do, college football, whereas for a lot of people, college is more important. I mean, of course, everyone here still has their favorite NFL teams, but this is like one thing that's very unifying for all of Idaho. Well, not all of Idaho, because we have the Vandals up north as well, but it's just BSU football is and has been a big thing for a very long time, even before some of their more popular wins that have happened over the last 25, 30 years.
We don't have a professional team here of anything.
This is a game we can go to.
Right. So we don't have any big teams here that are playing nationally. No NFL, no NBA,
No NHL.
no. We do have a hockey team, but it's a light hockey team.
Yeah. Still love the Steelheads.
Yeah.
They're fun.
Yeah.
They're fun, but
So BSU's
something
the
national.
BSU's the deal here because they have done some great things, and people hang on to that.
Yeah.
So I don't believe that it was with him having such a good job at HP. He was doing this because he loved it.
A lot of people would love to and still do.
Right.
There's people that's their part-time job is to do events at the stadium, which are mostly games, which why wouldn't you?
Get to see the game. Kurt was well respected at work in the local deaf community. He learned sign language when he was young, when he befriended a deaf friend at church who was having a hard time understanding the sermons.
Wow. That's amazing to learn a whole new language for a friend.
Absolutely. I was like, he did what? Great.
And I don't think ASL is an easy language to learn.
And he did it because of a friend told him, like, I can't understand what's going on. So kudos to him.
Yeah.
Curtis also worked as an interpreter in his spare time. He was highly regarded in that community.
It's a very tight-knit community, too.
Donna, his wife, was a daycare provider, and the family was very religious. They went to church every Sunday and every Wednesday night. It wasn't an option in their household.
Sure. Not uncommon around here.
Their son, Austin, was having trouble with the law, though. He had been involved with drugs and recently charged with felony armed robbery.
Oh.
The family is terrified after Kurt's death. They are worried they are next. Police start looking at Austin's friends and drug dealers that he's associated with.
Totally
Reasonable.
reasonable to look up those avenues for sure.
So we're gonna clear up to 2005.
Oh, 5, okay.
So 2 years later, the Meridian police are still reaching out to the public for any help. They say they have looked into thousands of leads. The police are saying, we just need that one person who knows something to come forward.
Mm-hmm.
I think they already knew who it was. And they were looking for someone that knew about this. Yeah, that knew about it. Spilled the
Someone
beans.
willing to say something that would be like, we're on the right track.
Right. In 2006, a grand jury indicted Donna Kaye Thorngren, 46, and she is charged with first-degree murder. They knew who they were looking at.
And they were watching for a while, which is what happens a lot, is they'll just watch and wait and gather, especially nowadays. We saw all the crazy 70s, 80s, 10-day turnaround for a death row thing. We're ready to go. Death row.
Let's go.
Multiple people being charged. We can do them all. Let's get her done.
Curtis and Donna's 21-year-old son, Austin Thorngren, so he was 21 at the time, is charged with being an accessory to murder.
Ooh.
And both were arrested on June 23rd, 2006. So yeah, the police definitely have been eyeballing these guys.
Mm-hmm. Watching and waiting.
The suspected murder weapon, a .32 caliber handgun, was a rare type.
Mm.
And also, it matched a model of a gun that was taken from Donna's mother's home just 6 months before Kurt was murdered.
Well, that's not looking good.
The gun was so rare that local experts have been unable to find another one. That's how rare this gun was. And I don't know the whole deal. I'm not a gun expert.
Aficionado.
Thank you for that big word. It went through my mind, but I wasn't going to try to say it. But I think, a 32 is a 32. And they're like, no,
Not this one.
not this one.
She's special.
So there's that little tidbit.
That's a big tidbit. That's a really unfortunate misstep for any criminal. Don't use your pappy's antique gun that there's 3 of in the world.
I kind of feel like that's where that was going.
Whoopsie.
The weapon has never been recovered. Kurt's autopsy revealed he had a toxic level of
Of what?
it's a big word for me stuff.
Toxicity.
No, I'm going to say the drug. Revealed he had a toxic level of
Ephedrine.
Yes. I was gonna do it.
No, I'm so sorry.
There's lots of vowels on that word.
And it looks very weird. I believed in you 100%, but I was like, this can't be it, can it? It wasn't. I'm so sorry. Do it. Say it.
It's Sudafed.
Yeah, Sudafed. That's why it's called Sudafed.
He had a toxic level of pseudo. In his system that he had ingested at least 4 hours before he was killed.
Why was he doing that for?
Maybe he was sick, but a toxic
level.
And he went to church.
He doesnn't sound like the type that's like, I'm going to pop 16.
He was absolutely, this is one of the things that I read in my research. He was not okay with any altering,
Taking any meds.
no, not any meds, but like any drugs or alcohol. So he
He
surely
wasn't
was.
trying to get high.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Thank you for putting those words in my mouth. He was not trying to be in an altered
Inebriated.
state.
Yeah.
He was absolutely against it. So, and it's just, with him going to church that day.
He's not the type to be like, I'm going to pop these Sudafed and go to church and have a grand old time.
And if he was that sick, where maybe if it was an accidental thing, if you're that sick that you're messing up on your cold medicine, you probably should be home in bed.
And you'd probably be telling your family about it, like, or they would know of how,
Right.
like, oh my gosh, this is the sickest I've ever seen dad, or this is the sickest I've ever seen my husband.
Nothing like
Because,
that.
listen, we know what a man cold looks like. So I'm not trying to downplay, and it's okay. You guys need a little bit more help. We understand.
It actually is proven that our women's pain level tolerance is significantly, and we're just built that way.
Ask
So-
any tattoo artist.
Not judging, but we're bad.
It's just, it is how it is.
Kurt had told Donna that Austin was going to have to move out when he turned 18 due to his drug use and the fact that he was charged with felony armed robbery. Kurt was killed only 2 days before Austin's 18th birthday. Yeah. Not a good sign.
And it doesn't look good.
The police listened to over 600 phone calls placed by Donna.
Damn.
They were on her day one.
They were waiting.
In those calls, she continually was asking people what they told the police about the case. They were on her.
Suspicious.
Don't be suspicious.
Don't be suspicious. It's a lot of phone calls. I don't know how long it takes me to make 600 phone calls.
600.
600?
I do believe that they were just on her day one. They just didn't have the evidence.
They were ready to get it, though.
Yeah.
They're waiting for you.
They're
to
waiting
miss
and
a
waiting
step.
and waiting.
Donna.
So we're going to kind of hear some defense side, some detective prosecution stuff here, and kind of they're playing out their case in the media.
As they do.
Donna's defense attorney, Mark Manweiler, said that Donna and Kurt had been married for 22 years and they had no legal troubles. There was no restraining orders, no drug use, nothing that would indicate a troubled marriage. He also said that the Meridian police were inexperienced in murder investigations. Facts.
Kind of got him there with having a patrol officer.
And that they had targeted Donna.
Okay.
And Donna knew she was being investigated for the last 3 years. She knew.
Then don't say anything on the telephone.
What is that movie with the casino where they're like running around and like they had lip readers? Do you remember that? They're like running around for payphones, and then pretty soon the FBI just finally got lip readers to try to figure out what these guys were
I
saying.
don't know if I remember it.
Robert De Niro.
Was his wife like a cheating girl?
Yeah.
Yes.
Sharon Stone.
And
And
he
they're
was
like,
trying
pretty soon the FBI had lip readers, so we had to start covering our mouths. Anyway, I don't know.
like you're on game day. Anyway,
know.
he's 4 yards off the 50. We're going to pull this play.
Yeah. And we also have drug dealers, right? Because of Austin. So
Okay.
he's like, really? Shouldn't we look at this?
Austin's just trying to get high. He's like,
The defense attorney is like, really? Shouldn't we be looking at the drug aspect of
very
this?
suspicious.
Manweiler said the police should have been looking into the drug dealers that had threatened Austin and assaulted one of the Thorngren's daughters just before Kurt's death.
Did that really happen?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
fair.
Definitely.
The defense also states that someone broke into the Thorngren's home weeks before the murder. True. And there's evidence that someone, possibly drug dealers, Manuel stated, they tried to run Kurt's car off of the road before the shooting. In my research, just to be fair, I never read any evidence of this, but the defense attorney is stating that there was evidence.
Okay.
There are also witnesses that report seeing Kurt up at night with his shotgun because he was worried about people threatening his children.
And especially with the break-ins, I can see that from...
And the assault on his daughter, and yeah. Manweiler said Donna has an alibi. She was out with several friends and family members when Kurt was murdered.
Several.
Was she?
I think we're going to find out.
The prosecution said sometime between 11:50 a.m. and shortly after noon on January 12th, Donna came home and shot Kurt.
Mm-hmm.
Donna then went out to lunch with her daughter, Amber, and a movie to go establish an alibi.
That's a great way to do it. We've seen that many times.
Didn't work out for the Mendez brothers so
no,
well.
and I have started watching it, by the way.
Donna also made sure everyone was out of the house. She had sent her daughter, Amber, to pick up a friend at Boise State University and arranged for Austin to spend the night at his grandmother's house.
How often is that happening if you're out doing robberies and doing drugs, senior drug dealers?
I believe it was the Snapped episode. His sister did say he was frequently staying over there. I think there was a lot of conflict.
So they're like, go stay with Papa Nana.
Yeah.
Okay. Got me there.
But it definitely was directed by Donna. Like, go stay over there.
Well,
during the initial court appearance, this is the sad, really sad part. The family was divided. Kurt and Donna's twin daughters and several of Donna's relatives sat behind her and Austin in court, and Kurt's parents sat with the victim coordinators behind the prosecution.
oh,
Right?
that's going to create some
It's definitely a rift.
because that's a very symbolic thing to do.
Yep.
And if you're doing that, you're basically planting your flag.
Yeah. Donna's bond was set at $1 million and Austin's was $500,000. In July, they had a bond reduction hearing.
Okay.
Donna's bond was reduced to $250,000 and Austin's was reduced to $25,000. Defense attorney Manweiler said Donna sold her house to cover legal costs, and the two were able to bond out of jail.
So they're free.
Yeah. And this is in July of 2006. I get on a little tangent. It didn't dig too deep, but Donna's mother, Alice Vetter, that same year was found guilty of defrauding NASA out of $1.3 million.
Who defrauds?
I just have to tell you this shit because I'm like, what? What happened? And oh, by the way, yeah, they're out on bond. And oh, by the way, her mom.
Mom, what the hell are you up to? You're defrauding NASA? That's like defrauding Bill Nye the Science Guy. Why would you do that?
They had a business. I want to say it was her sister-in-law, Alice Vetter, and her sister-in-law, who lived in another state. They sent false invoices to NASA for 11 fucking years from their businesses. 11 fucking years.
This reminds me of a scam that I see that people are encouraging people to do on TikTok where they're like, just send your wedding invite to many rich people and their secretaries will probably just like send you money or send you something like as a wedding present. But to do it to NASA.
I do think that they had to have some kind of contract with NASA.
Yeah,
but
so where they're like,
$1.3 million dollars
this is a vendor for us.
Right. $1.3 million
NASA
in 2000 in the 2000.
That's like a cajillion now.
Can you fucking believe that? I was like, interesting fact. Anyway, you know me and rabbit holes.
There's Mama.
So we're going to jump to 2007, almost a year later. In late July of 2007, Donna's trial begins. Opening statements from the prosecution said that Donna had 15 minutes to kill her husband. In an interrogation video, detectives asked about an open offer on Kurt's life. And Donna says, yes, like she knew what they were talking about, but then stopped short and said, look, if you're going to charge me, charge me. So they're like, you want to tell us about the offer?
And she says, I don't know, charge me.
Yeah.
Charge.
But she's like, yeah, like she acknowledged.
If someone told me that, I'd be like, offer of what?
Right.
Like, what
Because,
offer?
we've heard the detective was like, and this is not verbatim. I didn't write it down, but it was like, we've heard of some like offers. And she's like, yes.
Everybody knows that.
Right.
Anyway.
And how many, and then he was like, well, do you know who you said that to or how many times? It was, and this is not word for word, but basically. And then she was like, I don't remember.
Can't recall.
I mean, she probably had many offers out on Kurt's. This is what I'm interpreting. She had told more than one person that if you kill my husband, I will pay you money.
Well, and if her and her son are close and they know some people that are down to, because I'm wondering at first,
Drugs.
my first thought is, this is a very religious family. How would they even know anyone? But then they have this son that's dipping his toes into the criminal waters.
And I can't remember the lady's name, but they really started focusing, and this comes from the Snapped episode. They were really focusing on this lady that kind of had this, and we've all known this person. We all have known this house where you can go there as a young adult, a teenager, and they're like, oh, you can stay here and you can do drugs.
It's the party house.
It's the party
I have
house with an
several.
adult. Yes.
Yeah. And then they'll call your parents.
Yeah.
They'll meet your parents. And you're doing the most out of control stuff at the house. And they're never there. They're out doing their own thing. They're just they want to be the cool parent. They want to be the bestie.
Yeah.
We all know.
And so there was definitely, it wasn't, he wasn't doing drugs with his church friends. Like he
No.
had gotten into a crowd. And so the drug thing, I could see that as like a valid concern.
Mm-hmm.
During the trial, Austin's friend, Adam Ketterling, testified for the prosecution. Adam and Austin had stayed the night at Grandma's house and did meth and watched some movies.
Not at Nana's.
No.
Why would you do that at your Nana's?
They don't give a fuck.
And watch movies. Okay. They've turned Nana's house into a trap house.
I know. How do I say this? I'm like, okay, I'm just going to say it. They did meth at Grandma's.
Okay.
Ketterling stated he had walked in on a conversation between Austin and Donna out in the shed at Austin's grandmother's house.
Why are they talking in a shed? That's very suspicious.
Look at you. Ready? It was called a shed, but I think it might have been a little bit more than that. It definitely had a couch in it. I feel like it was kind of a hangout place.
Well, and since the son has been there so much, he needs a place to do the meth that Nana can't.
They're doing meth in the shed.
Nana's going to come
Very
in and say, the
reasonable.
waffles are ready.
Here.
You need a
And then they're
little-
not hungry.
And they're like, we'll take the waffles back to the shed.
Yeah.
We'll eat them for sure.
So Adam had woke up and found Austin missing. And so he went to go look for him. And that's when he found him out in the shed with his mother.
Okay. All right.
Austin told Adam to give him a minute to finish talking to his mom. Adam waited on the porch until Donna left. And then when he went back into the shed to talk to Austin was visibly upset. And when Adam said, "What's wrong?" Austin said, "I think she did it." When asked if he understood what Austin was saying, Adam said yes. There was a lot of buildup about them wanting to get Kurt out of the picture and all of that. This is quoting. That I just kind of got the feeling that that's what he was talking about.
He understood the vibes.
Right? I get what you're saying, bro. He knew. This conversation took place after Kurt died, but before his body was found.
No good. Why are you so upset? Why are we having secret shed conversations? Why is it so serious? Why did you say she did it? Now it's real.
It is real.
No one knows it's real yet, but it's real. Okay.
With Adam Ketterling testimony, I was like, isn't that hearsay? I learned something.
Oh, because I don't know what the lines are with it either. So I'm
So I'm
excited
like,
to
isn't
learn this.
that fucking hearsay? Like, how can he say that? There's a difference between hearsay and excited utterance.
Excited utterance. This is like,
I
wowie.
know. I was like, excited utterance is a spontaneous reaction to an event that is so powerful that it prevents the person's normal reflective processes. Meaning that like if somebody is grieving or just heard something shocking or watched something shocking, that they don't have time to like process. The law recognizes that they don't have time to process and make up stories.
To contort it or put it differently. So they're saying you saw this in the moment, a big moment. It's not you heard someone talking to someone else and then it's more like gossip, which isn't always, I don't even want to classify it as gossip, but like the things that you hear are hearsay. I feel like kind of get lumped into that more, where this is like, no, I saw a reaction and I saw something as it was happening.
There's even has like a time limit on it. Like anywhere from 10 to 30 minutes, they'll allow you to testify about what somebody else said.
Not just chitty chatting about something that 2 weeks ago you saw your coworkers or your family do.
Like within a significant event. Anyway, it blew my mind because I'm like, Law and Order, hearsay, what the fuck?
This is a fun fact. And it's actually fun. Like the case isn't fun. This is a fun.
I was
Some of you guys that are pros out there might know this.
And probably a
We
lot more
didn't
than me.
know
Like
this.
I did not deep dive into this, but I was like, because it's one of the appeals later.
Okay.
And also, let me just state that Adam Ketterling admitted to using drugs. He admitted to all that stuff. And
At Nana's.
at Nana's. After the pancakes. No, I don't know. But and so that was a big thing that they brought up in the case. Like, how could you believe this, guy that has, drug history and blah 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 blah. Anyway,
I'm very suspicious of Donna at this point. I'm not saying that she's using, but I feel like her barrier is broken down to the using for her to be going here and be the first to confide in, that she has much less of a problem with it now than she normally would, like maybe 5-10 years ago. Like, it's not a bother. She's accepting her son. That's my opinion. Is that a bad take?
no,
Okay.
you fucking nailed it. Prosecutor Armstrong said that there's evidence that Donna and Kurt were estranged, and Donna hoped Kurt would die.
Ooh.
She had a history of spending money that led the couple to money problems, and they were even using a debt reduction service. So you remember that point where her defense attorney said they've had no problems, no restraint. They were sleeping. She was sleeping on the couch
Well,
with the dogs, and he was sleeping in bed. There was definitely some issues. So for her attorney, there's no it. Because what, her husband didn't beat her and they didn't do drugs?
That's what I was thinking when you said that. Because there's many couples that of my friends or acquaintances that I can look at and say, yeah, the cops have never been called, but has some fucked up shit happen or some weird, controlling, manipulative things that you can't even call the cops for,
Right.
like over years, and you know these things just because there's no criminal record. This is the type of family, and I'm making assumptions and judgments here, but this is the type of family that even if something did happen, like a whoopsie, push your mom down, or whoopsie, I threw a toaster at dad's head, they're not calling the cops.
They're not calling the
No,
police.
they're
Because they were very highly regarded
they're not.
in their church. Everybody thought that they were a perfect family.
And there's a willingness to uphold that. There's
You gotta keep it tight, right? At one point, Donna had racked up over $50,000 worth of debt. Okay, and
what year is this?
early 2000s.
That's again that you might as well make it a million now.
Right.
I'm exaggerating, but that's a lot of debt at that time.
So much so that they actually, when Kurt found out what was happening, they got separate checking accounts and was like, I'm going to be I kind of feel, I don't know the exact situation, but it was like, I'm going to be responsible for the bills and
You can't touch this.
you cannot touch the money that we need is responsible to pay our mortgage and our light bill.
And especially at this time for a traditional family that probably had same accounts.
Oh,
and
it's a big deal.
that's
Especially
you don't see or hear about that a lot.
especially considering the faith that they held. That was not
Yeah.
going to happen.
This is
So, actually, it was pretty progressive, I feel, on Kurt's part to do that. Like, here you go.
it was outside of the beaten path, that's for
Instead
sure.
of just being like,
Because most men in these very ultra religious, that is a wifely duty, you know, and many, not all, think she handles the books. And for him to feel like, oh, maybe even if she did, I have to stop it.
yeah.
There's a lot of men that have no idea how to pay a bill.
No, and Kurt was super smart. Super, super smart.
This is amazing.
And so he was like, no, I'm not going to let this happen to my family. This is how it's going to go, which is fair. If your partner,
$50,000.
if your partner is putting you in financial ruin, they're like, no.
Rick and I have separate finances, and we still ask each other about big purchases.
Absolutely.
Because I want his advice and he wants my advice.
Because you're financially still responsible to even if you're not married, you have a partner. You are still financially responsible to your partner.
And your decisions affect that person.
Exactly.
So
because
we
they're
still
depending.
talk about it.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that I have a veto or he has a veto
Right.
on me. But
That's
he
where the
brings
respect
it.
level comes
Yeah.
in. Because she did not fucking respect him.
$50,000.
Just blend. And most of it I saw was she spent a lot on the children. I don't know how you could spend that much on your kids.
I think she was refocusing. I think that her picture of the family that she thought she would have had crumbled. And so now she wants to be the special person, and she wants to, I mean, having an addict child, the addict child is going to manipulate you. And I'm sure that she probably fell into that and then also wanted to help out her other kids.
You are just, I feel like you could have wrote this story. Donna was very protective of Austin and his activities. She hid a lot of things from Kurt. And once he found out, Austin was already out of control and fully addicted to meth.
Too far gone.
She protected her baby boy to the point where by the time Dad found out, it was
We're talking about drug dealers and break-ins.
Right.
And
It's out of control.
yeah.
Kurt wanted Austin out of the house, not just because of what he was doing away from the home, but also what he was doing in the home. Donna even let him cook meth in the family home.
You're shitting my dick. Not in the good religious family home. She's like, sweetheart, I'll get you a little Bunsen burner. Yeah, let's just get the credit card. What type of... You're making a science lab, sweetie. I like this. Science. Men in STEM.
Can you believe it?
She's got...
I feel so bad for Kurt just to fall in, like, he has to look at his he was a very big family man, and to all of a sudden look at his family and be like, what the hell is going? He probably didn't even say that, but I'm gonna say it for him.
The gosh golly,
what the hell is going on in this damn house? That's probably how we felt.
What's the fudge?
I feel so bad because it just in my research, it felt like Austin and Donna's relationship was more important than her husband's relationship.
Yeah, this sounds
which
like
is fucking weird.
One of the original toxic boy moms is what this is sounding like. We see a lot of those themes on social media these days with very toxic boy moms, and this feels right parallel to it.
My baby boy, I need to protect him, and it just...
Yeah, why aren't the sisters allowed to cook meth? Do they have their own cocaine business?
Talk about favoritism.
Support their entrepreneurship.
Fuck. I just was like, when I was like, what?
I cannot believe the meth lab in the house. I would have never thought of, Dani. This is wild.
Yeah. Dad's like, no.
Gotta draw the line at the meth lab.
18, you're moving out. And he did die 2 days before he turned 18.
So he knew the timeline was happening, is the point.
Mm. A key piece of evidence in the trial were some pants of Donna's. At the time when Kurt was murdered, Donna was painting their bathroom. She's did a little spruce up.
DIY.
She told police that she had done some painting early that Sunday morning and had taken off her pants in the bathroom and left them there. So I'm going to tell you that I am not getting up and starting to paint my bathroom on a Sunday when I know that I have to go somewhere. She was going to church. I'm just going to get up.
And then had a lunch date, right?
Yeah, I'm going to get up at 7 a.m. and go knock out an hour of painting, and then I got to go get ready.
1 hour of painting?
Why bother?
1 hour of painting. Once you unwrap that crusty paintbrush or roller that probably needs a good rinsing still, even if you did wrap it, pour it, fix any masking. 1 hour is not a long time.
And that's not the exact time, but who... If Kurt was back from church by noon, they were at church in the morning.
Maybe she accidentally stumbled on a meth lab and felt a sudden rush of productivity. This is all allegedly for me. I'm just making this up. But
if I'm painting, I want to immediately take off my clothes and
done for the day. Me
take a shower and have a cocktail. I'm not going nowhere.
Yeah, a paint crusty in your hair? No.
When the police took a look at her pants, they found gunpowder residue running down the pants. They stated if the pants had been just tossed on the floor, the pattern would have been significantly different. Right?
Okay.
She should have laid them out flat. Police concluded that she was wearing those pants when she shot Kurt.
Whoopsie. And this was at a time where people didn't really know about gunshot residue either. They're like, if I don't have, because they knew DNA. DNA was the hot new thing.
Right.
Okay. They're like, I'm not going to be bleeding I don't need any of his blood on me, my blood on him. Like, no bloodsies, maybe no hair. And they're like, just give him a good pow pow, toss the pants that you're painting in.
Yeah. Mm.
Whoops.
They never did test her hands or anything for the gunpowder residue, which is
Mistake.
it's a mistake. But the pants are a dead giveaway.
Yeah. Why-
Pants,
You didn't go shooting
dead
today.
giveaway.
You went painting.
Oh, the jury deliberated for over 3 days. Why?
What in the literal fuck? Mama had a meth lab in the house.
I like my 3-hour jury.
You know, I mean, I'm glad that they're taking the time. Sure, sure, sure. You know, and I can understand someone. There's always going to be someone in a 11, 12%, whatever it is, that's like, we have to consider this. And that is an important voice. But sometimes they want to consider.
But also, I will say, when I first started researching this, I was like, this is pretty fucking flimsy. Right? And then
They did have to wait a while, but when you get into the
I was like, this
deets-
is pretty flimsy. I'm like, but then,
who else could it be?
right? Because that's like 15 minutes. She had this shit planned.
I mean, I'm just saying that.
Mom's gun was missing 6 months before.
Little premeditation. Don't use the antique gun.
Wait. When the jury came back, it was with a guilty verdict for first-degree murder. Donna was sentenced to life in prison with at least 20 years fixed. We still have Austin out there with some charges.
Austin, what are you up to? Got a meth lab in jail or what?
I feel that these were bullshit charges. So, it was accessory to murder.
Yeah.
And then it was just,
From what you've told me, to be able to get him as well, which with him being a drug user and more prone to making mistakes or leaving evidence or maybe making calls from the house, whatever, I feel like I could see how it'd be very flimsy.
this kid didn't know shit what was happening. You know what happened? His mom thought that they had this fucking relationship that she could go and say, by the way, I killed your dad. And then he lied to the police. That was his charges. That he lied to the police about his mom.
He has an alibi. He was smoking meth at Nani's.
So it was flimsy. It was stupid to drag this kid through this, who was already having so many issues. I mean, maybe it was good with the drug. Like, he was definitely getting dried out, I would think.
I mean,
so
I'm sure that's
he had lots of
positive.
shit going on. But it was bullshit charges. I'm going to say it. It was stupid. It was stupid. In November, the charges against Austin were dropped. The charges of accessory, big words, kids, to murder was because the police said Austin knew that his mother killed his father, but lied to the police about it.
I can see that. That's somewhat legit. Like, you can't, if someone tells you I killed someone.
But I feel like to just pull him in as accessory to a murder.
No, I don't think it should be accessory to murder. I think it should be like withholding, or I don't know what the charge would be.
I don't know what the charge would be either, but accessory to murder is
like obstruction.
maybe obstruction of justice. I know that's a real one.
Yeah, obstruction.
Look at me getting
or
excited.
Like hindering an investigation or lying to the lying thing has to be something somewhere.
Yeah.
Criminal experts tell us what that could be. If you're just out doing meth at Nana's, having fun as you normally do, and your mom comes over and says, I did murder Dad. And you're like, I was just trying to get high at Nana's. But anyway, I'm going to go back to doing that. And then the police ask you about it and you lie. What type of charges is that? Help us. We're not legal experts. Paralegals, legal experts, attorneys, please chime in.
So Austin ended up just pleading guilty to 2 probation violations for using alcohol and cocaine in exchange for the charges being dropped. I'll take that.
Sure, a little Coke. Who doesn't? Got it.
So currently, Donna is 65 and in the South Idaho Correctional Institution, and she will be eligible for parole in 2027.
Okay.
Let me tell you this.
Tell me.
I did not really make notes on this. This tore this family apart. Her
I've been thinking about that.
daughters believed in her so much and just stood behind her. And at some point, after mom was convicted, they were like trying to do their own. They were convinced it was some of Austin's friends or drug dealer
And
acquaintances.
I would too. That's
Fair.
their first view of like the wild world of crime. They're like, I've seen movies.
Yeah.
The drug lords and the mafia bosses and the cartels, they're behind this.
And they went to the police to discuss it. And then the police basically like opened up all the evidence to him.
They have to
now
learn somehow.
They know. Now they know that their mom murdered their father. But to have that realization that your mother led you down this fucking rabbit hole searching for your brother's drug dealer acquaintances or friends that may have killed when she did it. The heartache. I feel so bad for those kids.
That's
all of them,
big.
even Austin. Austin had
He
issues.
wasn't smart enough to plan this or
No, he had
competent
no
enough in the
involvement
moment.
whatsoever. He just got wrapped up because Mama thought that they were, they were so close that she needed to go tell her son what happened. First, no,
Very toxic boy mom behavior.
don't do that. So it was really sad to watch on that episode of Snapped. The daughter, I believe it was Annalisa, that was just like, my mom lied to us for so many years and made us believe all this stuff that wasn't even true. So,
No, I agree. And I think you told me in the first court date that people took their sides.
yes.
So that stuck out as a huge red flag or just a moment to notice for me, because if the first court date, people in the family are already like, and not a lot of them probably don't know the evidence.
No.
So for them to
It was
know that
mostly
the
Kurt's-
vibes are bad
Mm-hmm.
and think that
It was
something's
Kurt's
up.
parents. So then it caused a split between
Huge
their
rift.
grandchildren and them. And they just lost their son and they just lost their father and they are losing their mother and brother. They don't know what's going on. So to have that rift when she was just a manipulative, lying bitch. I was trying to find a better word for that, but I couldn't. I felt like she used her son to almost as a, I don't want to say entertainment, but like,
No, I feel
that
like
was
she
her.
treasured him
Yeah, like
more.
it was like, that was because she went to all their games or all of his games.
And she doesn't want to fail with him.
Right.
So if he turns 18 and he's not there, that's a kind of a failure. It isn't really. I can see how someone would view it that way.
Right.
But listen, there's other options. Divorce, babes. Divorce.
Or how about not allowing your children to cook meth in the house?
Maybe don't allow them to be Jesse from Breaking Bad, like, science, mom, science.
And they had an actual science teacher in that, by the way. So,
Well, get the fuck out of here.
Mr. White. So, anyways, she is a bad fucking person. And
I feel bad for the twins.
I do too. And I feel bad for Austin because
He was out just gallivanting, lollygagging.
fuck, kids get in trouble.
And then to have his sisters be like, what one of your friends came over and murdered
And
Dad?
absolutely, that happened.
Oh, you know it did.
Absolutely. No, they talk about it like that happened. And like, hey, bro, tell us who Who did this? Tell me about this friend. Tell me about that friend.
You
What about-"
know about the drugs and all the cartels and the mafias.
And
Tell
so
us
then you
what
had that
gang did
split
this.
between siblings. So, Donna, you are a bad person, and I feel a lot of sympathy for Kurt's parents and also your children. You're a piece of shit. That's all I got.
Boy moms, not all boy moms are like this, but toxic boy moms. If you're delving into a relationship that's much closer with your son or bordering on a relationship, like that kind of relationship with your son, stop. No good. Stop. Halt. Pause. Let's rethink. Let's reframe. It isn't your fault that you're doing this.
Be a partner with your child's parent, whether they're your husband or not, and get some shit figured out. Parent with co-parent. That was the word I was looking for. God, so
We
I like to think of myself as
sometimes when we
fairly.
struggle. It's funny.
I don't think I'm stupid by any means, but damn, these big words get me.
You've done a wonderful job, as you always have.
Tongue-tied.
This was a great story. You put it together really well in how you laid it out. So we are glad that you guys joined us again. Another great story. Thank you, Dani. You can follow us on Facebook, Instagram. We did get the TikTok going. So there, and this is late. We released later, so we've had a TikTok for a while, but come follow us on TikTok. Thank you so much for listening. And
Email us with any questions or
Suggestions.
suggestions at thelethallibrary@gmail.com. We would super appreciate it. And follow, subscribe, review,
comment.
all those
Let's
things.
chitty chat about it.
Alrighty, guys. We'll see you later.
10-4, rubber ducky.
Fuck yeah.